Thank you for watching this presentation on Housing and Urban Development Notice of Funding Opportunity Basics, how to prepare and apply. Today is September 25th, 2025. Please note that KCRHA has released a funding opportunities basics presentation on our YouTube channel that includes information about funding opportunities that would be helpful to watch before watching this presentation. Please note this is also a high-level overview of what is the NOFO and how to prepare and apply. The NOFO is a complicated process that is hard to distill in a 10-minute presentation. So the NOFO, also known as the Notice of Funding Opportunity, is an annual competition for funding by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD. This is for Continuum of Cares, or COCs. Our local COC is the Seattle King County COC, also known as Washington 500. The lead agency is KCRHA, and one part of being the lead agency is submitting the application for the NOFO on behalf of the COC. To learn more about our local COC and how to be involved, you can visit our Continuum of Care webpage linked here. This also includes previous NOFO documents to give you more information on what to expect going forward. So HUD releases the NOFO every year. The timeline does vary year to year. The requirements for the NOFO do change every year and includes information on specific program types and requirements that must be met, as well as what type of programs are being prioritized that year. KCRHA creates an application and opens a request for proposals, or RFP, based off of those priorities. And please note again that the NOFO isn't open to any program type, but is predefined based on the NOFO requirements. Providers who receive COC funds already must submit an application to renew. This may potentially become a biannual process, but at this time, agencies must renew every year. And providers may also apply for bonus dollars, which is new money available that year. And what is being funded does change every year. However, there is usually bonus dollars for domestic violence programs, and also for youth programs as well. Once providers have submitted applications, KCRHA then facilitates a rate and rank process where agencies are scored and ranked based on the requirements and priorities of the NOFO. KCRHA then submits a COC application along with the top ranked agencies on behalf of the COC, and then we wait for results from HUD. Being accepted to be submitted to HUD does not guarantee funding. Those final funding determinations are made by HUD. Once those final determinations are made by HUD and KCRHA receives a letter from HUD, KCRHA then posts the results and sends letters to agencies notifying them of the results. KCRHA then works with the local HUD field office to create a contract. This usually occurs in order of applications that start the soonest. So for example, an application that starts in March will often receive a contract before one that starts in November. However, contracts can take up to several months to begin. Agencies that receive the funds will then sign a master service agreement with KCRHA if they do not already have so. And once that has been signed, then KCRHA and the provider will sign a project service agreement or PSA for each program. And the provider will then become a subrecipient for COC funds. KCRHA is the direct recipient. In order to prepare for the NOFO, we highly suggest that you review past NOFO RFPs, which you can see on our Continuum of Care webpage at the bottom. This will help you understand what types of programs are often prioritized or funded, the requirements, what type of application questions to prepare for as well. We suggest that you compile our minimum eligibility documents. More information is in our procurement basics presentation. You can also go to our minimum eligibility checklist as well. These documents are required for every RFP, so it's great to have these prepared beforehand. Also, best practices for applying is to be as detailed as possible. Do not assume that raters can fill in the gaps. You will have local raters as well as raters for HUD reviewing your applications. So they cannot assume anything about your program. You need to be as detailed as possible so that they understand what you are describing. And use examples when possible as well. Use examples of other programs that your agency is currently doing, or use examples from the program that is currently being ran if that is what you're looking to be funded. In order to apply, KCRHA will post a notice of funding availability that will alert agencies to expect an RFP to be coming out shortly. Once KCRHA posts that RFP or funding opportunity, it is up to organizations to determine if they are eligible. So review the entire RFP for the full scope of work and requirements, how much funding is available and for what, and review the application instructions in detail. Organizations must determine their eligibility and must determine how much that they would like to apply for. KCRHA will host an info session, which is an opportunity for applicants to ask any questions that they have about the RFP, about the scope of work, requirements, and the application itself. Organizations will be applying outside of Salesforce for 2025 due to requirements from HUD. And then please follow RFP application instructions in detail. Please note that the NOFO is often a quick process. Please communicate back as soon as possible if you are reached out to by KCRHA. The sooner that we get a response, the sooner we are able to move forward. Again, KCRHA cannot tell you what to apply for or if you are eligible. Those must be determined by your agency. We really thank you for all the work that your organization does for our community and your interest in applying. For more information, we highly suggest that you look more into our continuum of care. Any person or organization who is working to address homelessness can register as a member of the continuum of care, and that application is linked here. Members of the continuum of care are given access to trainings throughout the year. It is a great way to connect with other organizations also working to end homelessness and also have a direct say within our community. KCRHA Funding Opportunities webpage has information on how to prepare and apply. That is also on our YouTube webpage. And also gives more information. Our funding opportunity webpage has more information about other funding opportunities as well. Stay up to date by following us on social media and subscribing to emails, and you can scan this QR code here to sign up for KCRHA emails. Thank you once again.